Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm Josh Coan.
I'm Connor Burquest.
Today we're talking about our Minnesota Timberwolves. Made a lot of changes in the offseason to improve their team, to hopefully get better, hopefully get back in the playoffs for the first time in 13 years. One of the big things was finally letting Rubio go. He's been a franchise favorite for a while, maybe never truly developed into what his really high potential was, or at least the hype was coming into the league. Let go of him, brought in Jeff Teague, and I want to kind of discuss the 2 point guards. And is Teague really an upgrade? Do we like what we got in Teague? Was it worth getting rid of Ricky Rubio?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, yeah, we're only, not too far into the season, not the largest sample size ever. But I do think we have enough games here to start analyzing the moves we've made and whether they're positive or negative. With that being said, I'm really neutral on the whole Teague versus Rubio deal. There's some games where I'm like, okay, I see where we got Teague. I see he's an upgrade. The shooting helps. The pick and roll with Towns looks really good. Offensively creates more spacing. And then there's games where he's so maddening, where he's not doing anything. He's not shooting well. He's playing poor defensively. And you just wish you had Rubio back for somebody to really run the offense and get the ball to people where they want it, which is something Rubio was so good at. And defensively, I think he was very underrated. I guess at this point, I'd have to lean towards getting rid of Rubio was the wrong decision for the pure fact that you're paying Jeff Teague more than what you were paying Rubio. And that being said, I don't think Teague is an upgrade over Rubio. At best, it's a wash currently. And I just think you're paying him more, so at that point, you have to kind of say it was the wrong move. You know, they're still out of the season. They're still gaining chemistry together, so I could definitely be proven wrong. I'm not giving up on Teague by any means. But at this point in the season, I do have to say, I think you're a little bit in the wrong currently, but could still change. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously it's extremely early, but that's the fun of sports. Part of the fun of sports is talking about this stuff and kind of discussing and seeing what we think. I liked Ricky Rubio a lot. A lot of people did. It was tough to see him go. It was tough to watch him that home opener playing for the Jazz and Jimmy Butler kind of fighting with him a little bit. You're kind of like, hey, Rubio's like, no, don't mess with Rubio. But really the only upgrade where Teague is scoring. And I think pace of play, assists, defense, Rubio's better. And Teague scoring one hasn't been that phenomenal over the top where it's like, oh yeah, he's way better than Rubio. But also we have other scoring options. And even more so now with Jimmy Butler, we should have more consistent scoring from him. Obviously Towns can score, Wiggins can score. I don't think it's that necessary to have scoring like that from the point guard position. Watching Teague, I haven't watched Teague super close his entire career, but the games I've seen just that is the inconsistency. I've seen him go off for big games, but I've also seen him make huge mistakes and not show up in big moments. That's not what I want for my point guard. I would rather have a point guard that can kind of slow things down, run the offense. And maybe Rubio wasn't the best in the fourth quarter, and maybe he took too many chances and made too many mistakes. But this offense still doesn't seem to have much of a flow in the fourth quarter. They're winning these games now, maybe because Jimmy Buckets is just kind of willing himself to win these games, but they still don't look like they've got everything kind of together and running a smooth, solid offense in the fourth quarter. And that kind of worries me going forward. Decide between the two. I still think it was a mistake. I still would rather have Rubio back there than Jeff Teague. If we make the playoffs, if we make a run, I'm not going to be mad about it, but I miss Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, it's tough. And I really think those end-of-game situations that we're talking about where I did think you need to have Rubio on the bench would be so helpful this year with the fact that you have Jamal Crawford and you can kind of make that switch and would look so well, and you can have Rubio for those first, 40-plus minutes. And then if you need to put in somebody who can really create and hit shots, you put in Jamal Crawford at the end to kind of run the offense, at the end of the games there. Teague has looked really good in a few games and then really bad in a few games. And that's just the tough part is I felt like while Rubio wasn't the best scorer, he was pretty consistent. You know what you were going to get, where sometimes Teague looks great, sometimes he doesn't. That can be a little tough to deal with. And that being said, I do think you need to give Teague a little bit more time here before we really put the axe down that it was a bad move. It's still pretty early here.
Yeah, and that was always my discussion with people that wanted to get rid of Rubio for so long. It was, if you got a better point guard, then go for it. But I just don't know if some of these other guys' names they're throwing out are an upgrade to Rubio. I don't know if Jeff Teague is that big of an upgrade to Rubio, like you said, to account for the extra money that you have to pay him.
Exactly.
All right, want to know what you guys think. Is it too early, or can you already tell me, would you rather have Rubio or was Jeff Teague a good decision? Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See ya.